Why do people, even those who call themselves Christians, think that they are guaranteed to be saved, yet still reject Christ? What is it exactly that they are rejecting? What is Christ? Christ is first and foremost an example of the principle of change, a demonstration of the need for change. But what is it that needs to change? It is our state of consciousness. Most people on this planet have sunk into a state of consciousness that is far, far below their true potential. Jesus and the living Christ and other manifestations such as Buddha, Krishna, Shiva, Muhammad, Ra, all come into embodiment to demonstrate that all human beings have a higher potential. We have the potential to put on the mind of Christ, the new man, and put off our old state of consciousness, which Jesus called death. We have the potential to put on the mind that was in the Christ Jesus. Jesus came to save us from what he called death, meaning spiritual death. A state of being spiritually dead because you have forgotten your true spiritual identity, your true divinity, and your true immortal connection to the Creator. This state of spiritual death can become a self-reinforcing downward spiral that can be very difficult to break out of. And the reason is very simple. If you have grown up your entire life around people who are trapped in a low level of consciousness, how are you to ever know that there is anything beyond it unless you are shown by example? This is precisely why the living Christ comes to earth, to demonstrate that there is something beyond the normal state of human consciousness. This state of spiritual death also has a tendency to become comfortable because it makes you see yourself as a victim who does not have power to take responsibility for life, and you certainly don't have the power to change the world for the better. So just follow the blind leaders, the power elite, the religious authorities. Most people are so comfortable in their state of spiritual death that they simply do not want to be disturbed, and they will die or kill to be woken up. When Jesus was put on trial, the mob was asked whether they wanted to free the living Christ or a confessed murderer. The crowd chose Barabbas because he was in the same state of low consciousness as themselves, and Jesus was in such a higher state of consciousness that it was a threat to their sense of conformability and equilibrium. Now, you may have never heard these messages before, and thus you have been given the real meaning of the true teachings of Christ for this age, and thereby you've been given a choice to either accept Christ or you must reject Christ. Yet, consider why you have found, heard, or are continuing to listen to these messages at this point in your life. Could it be because in the inner levels of your consciousness, not necessarily the outer levels of your mind, you are ready to reject the false teachings and accept the real teachings, accept the living Christ? If you are willing to consider this, then the next section contains profound teachings on the psychological mechanisms of the human ego that predispose people to reject Christ. You can also learn how to outsmart this enemy within and begin to unlock your true Christ potential by making life decisions.